host, Realist Rick. How you doing today? How you doing? How you doing today? Well, as you can see, my camera is not up because right now it's out of commission. And with the economy this day and age, it's kind of hard to just jump out and go get another one. So for right now, I will be going camera free until I can find my other one, which will possibly be a downgrade. Well, it will be a downgrade for my last camera, but once I dig it out and get it up and running, I'll have a camera again. So for that, I do apologize. Please forgive me, and blah, blah, blah. But what I'm wanting to talk about is the number of American biolabs and how the number is just growing drastically in Africa. So let's get to the topic at hand. Now, this is an op-ed, and it is from Eurasia Review News and Analysis by Danyana da Silva, specialist from the Research Institute of Infectious Disease of the United States Ground Forces, launched their activity in Kenya. Oh, wait a minute. Did I miss something? Launched their activity in Kenya in October. There is no official data on their work. All information is classified. However, it is obvious that the reason that their arrival in the region is the construction of a biological laboratory similar to their activity in Guyana, Cameroon, the Ivory Coast, Liberia, Nigeria, South Africa, Senegal, Sierra Leone, Tanzania, and Uganda. A large network of laboratories funded by the United States has entangled the African continent. Okay, I don't think I even need to read anymore to tell you where this is going. Now, think about this. Really, really think about this. We're, just truly, truly think about this. All right. These laboratories in Africa. Russia, when they went into the Ukraine, found similar laboratories that were United States funded and whatnot in Ukraine when they went in. What were they cooking up there? I think everybody could come to their own conclusions, but I think there's only going to be the select few awakened, not woke, awakened, that will come to the right conclusion. Sadly, and here's the thing. These laboratories that were found in the Ukraine by Russia were admitted to, then were walked back and denied, then were admitted to again because, I mean, the evidence was there. Russia showed it. And then they tried, and in the process of all this stuff, the United States has blocked us from viewing certain Russian websites. You know, some of their most important news websites. You know, it's crazy. It is crazy the amount of misinformation, disinformation, and blatant lies that are going on within the Biden-Harris administration, or should I say the military-industrial complex administration, the fourth branch of government, you know, the one that calls the shots, the globalists, some call them the globalists, you know, and they're probably, you know, there's probably people in the higher ups than the military-industrial complex that are at work with all this, like, people that are involved in organizations like Skull and Bones. I mean, the list goes on and on. Bilderberg, Bohemian Grove cult, the occultists, the big occultists. I'm not talking about the little ones. I'm talking about the occultists like Oprah Winfrey and people like P. Diddy and Jay-Z and Beyonce. And these people are literal occultists. And there's organizations. And I don't want to get too far off the topic, but it all has to do with what I'm talking about. These people that are behind all this are wicked. They're evil. And if you think this is all just some random coincidence, check this out. You know, takeaways from Biden's trip to Africa. The pardon of son Hunter overshadows official business. So Biden goes to Africa. How much money did we give? Was it $1 billion or something like that? I don't know. But he goes to Africa right after pardoning his son, okay? Right after pardoning his son. Here he goes to Africa, the Democrat, and look who he's talking to. Oh my goodness, the Democratic Republic of the Congo. Oh, pay attention to that. Do you see who he's shaking hands with? And there is a reason. I am bringing this all up, ladies and gentlemen. There is a reason. I made a post on Facebook, and let me explain something. Everything I have stated in that post was 100% accurate to the knowledge that I have. And the rest is just common sense when you connect. What did Pee Wee Herman used to say? Connect the dots, la 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 la. You know, I can't do no Pee Wee Herman. I'm not Pee Wee Herman. But here's the thing: connect the dots, la la la. So I've been connecting dots. Everything to me has been like a puzzle in life. I don't know if it's some type of mental illness or whatever it is, but I have to put things together. I have to see the whole. I'm the type of person. I am a big picture type of guy. I don't like to see an up close shot of anything. I like to see the whole thing to get a better perspective. And when I'm looking at stuff like this and I'm seeing news like this, takeaways from Biden's trip to Africa, the laboratories in Africa that I literally just showed you. But look at this. Wait a minute. You didn't see this. Here we go. Takeaways from Biden's trip to Africa. Pardon of son Hunter overshadows official business. I just read that, but it wasn't up on the screen. I apologize. But here's the thing. I'm going to just go to a different editor because this studio mode thing, I don't know. It's just easier for me to one click instead of have to prep something. It's wild. But here's the thing. Trip to Africa. Okay. The number of... Whoa. No ads. The number of American biolabs in Africa is growing rapidly. What is this? And then here's Biden, and there's a reason. There is a reason, and God just showed me this. God literally just showed me this. He just put it in front of my face on the screen because they're talking about. Look. We'll just go to this. You saw that thing. Bill Gates warns about global killer disease X. Millions will die. Okay, and look at the date this was published. It was published September 3rd, 2019 at 11:25 p.m. Eastern time. But look. But I mean, seriously. Yeah, wait a minute. Something happened. I don't know. But the internet, look, he warns about this stuff. Bill Gates literally warns disease X, global killer, millions will die. And there's a reason I'm bringing this up. The Trump administration is about to step into power. Why is Timu popping up? The Trump administration is about to step into power. They are devastated at their loss, but if you think they've given up, they have not. Think about it. Trump had everything was in his favor in 2020. You know, everything was in Trump's favor to be reelected, I should say. And then the next thing you know, we have this, we'll call pandemic for the sake of, community guidelines and standards. But here's the thing. Call it a pandemic. We won't say plandemic because, we don't know that it was planned. We're dumb because we can't figure anything out. Okay? We're just dumb, so we're going to pretend like we're dumb, that we didn't figure out the whole darn thing. That these people are so honest and just just wonderful. They're saints. They would never lie to us and cause myocarditis and all other types of horrible things that happen to human beings. They would never do that, ever. So don't you dare believe anybody that tells you they would. How dare you? You're a threat to humanity if you question anything we tell you. But no, seriously, back to the reality. Bill Gates warns about global killer disease X, millions will die. And the reason I say this, Biden goes to Africa, right? Biden goes to Africa. Biden goes to Africa. Wait a minute, takeaways. Here we go. Takeaways. And look who he's talking to. Democrat Republic of Congo, of course, Angola over there. Gee. Are they getting ready to open up shop in the Congo? Or is that a testing ground? Bill Gates talks about this disease X in 2019, and they keep repeating it. And then, they threaten Trump with a new one. One of the Fauci's followers, one of Fauci's little elves, decide that they want to make a threat about a new disease. And you got these doctors coming out, and the list... This is crazy, what I'm about to show you. Now, if you can't put this together, I can't help you. I can't. I just can't. I mean, if you don't see where all this is going right now, let me show you. See? Congo. There it says Democrat Republic of the Congo. I don't mean to sound like a prick. I'm not trying to sound like a prick. It's just, I want people to realize the long game. And the extra long game is that, well, this is the long game that I'm explaining to you in segments of stories that I'm going to show you that are going to hopefully make sense at the end of all of this, but let's keep going. So we're going to back up just in case anybody else is joining in. I don't want to be rude, so if anybody else gets into the live, I want you to see what's really going on. Okay, the number of American biolabs in Africa is growing rapidly. It's freaking terrifying, mind you. And look at some of the places they're at. Again, Guyana, Cameroon, Ivory Coast, Liberia, Nigeria, South Africa, Senegal, Sierra Leone, Tanzania, and Uganda. Okay, look where those are. Look where those are. Now, he's talking to somebody in the Congo. He's talking to a guy in the Congo. Then, of course, Bill Gates warns about global killer, disease X, millions will die. Now, look. Democratic Republic of the Congo. Now, what I'm trying to say is the Democrats will not, the globalists and the Democrats and the neocons and the rhinos will not stop fighting. They threw everything that they possibly could before the election at Donald Trump, to the point that they were willing to, JFK him. We'll put it that way. To the fact that they were willing to JFK him, and then they give more media coverage and more investigation into the guy that clipped the United Healthcare dude than they did the actual presidential assassination attempt on Donald John Trump. Now, you think about that, ladies and gentlemen. You really think about that. Where are our priorities? An assassin that kills a United Healthcare worker, or a presidential assassination attempt? Because Donald John Trump was once a president. He is going to be the president. That's if these lunatics don't do something completely crazy. But then, of course, we see these drones flying over Jersey, New York, SUV-sized drones. Gee, I wonder what that's about. But here we go. So take away from that. Now, check this out. We'll go to... Wait a minute. Let's find disease X. Mysterious illness dubbed it. Now look at the dates of these stories. Look at the date, 15 hours ago, 1 day ago. Who was just over there? Who was just in Africa? Talking to somebody from where? WHO clueless about Congo disease origin, what they are calling disease X. Disease X. That same disease that I just explained that Bill Gates was pushing on and on about, going on and on about. And he's been going on and on about it. I think they were just looking for a... Because Bill Gates is the founder of Microsoft. I'm pretty sure you already know that. If you didn't know, now you know. That's great. We're learning something new. It's always good to learn something new. I learn something new every day. I feel like an idiot every day because sometimes I'm like, oh my goodness, I didn't know that. Oh my goodness, I didn't know that. Oh my goodness. So I'm learning something new every day, as we all are. But here, look, I showed you. Did I not? Here we go. Bill Gates warns about global killer disease X, millions who die, 9/3/19. The number of American biolabs in Africa is growing rapidly. Biden's meeting with the Democratic Republic of the Congo. They give him tons, they give him a bunch of cash. And can you not see what's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Now watch this. Now, I just showed you Disease X. Most of 416 infected, most of dead from mysterious illness in Congo are children. See, I just got done telling my wife earlier that they're going to come after the kids. You heard them were here. Do you remember hearing that woman... these crazed lunatics that were marching down the street talking about we're here, we're queer, we're coming for your children? You remember that? I don't know if you remember that, but it was one of those LGBTQ rainbow sunshine cupcake unicorn, let's whip our weenies out and run through the streets and expose our half-naked bodies to little children parades. Yeah. And as a matter of fact, they have had those type of parades in Canada where grown men have had their genitals exposed in parades, just like they have here in the United States, places like California. I mean, seriously, this stuff is actually going on. But that's besides the point. Unless we forget that a whole monkeypox thing outbreak that happened in New York not too long ago. Do you know what the common denominator was? And you could look this up. You could fact check me all day long. I want you to fact check me on this because there is a reason I am saying things like this. Because I'm going to tell you, I am a watchman I'm a watchman on the wall, blowing the shofar, warning the people. You are not being pleasing to God. We are not. Because we allow certain things. We allow it. We are tolerant of it. We are so tolerant in this day and age. There's some of us that our spiritual health is right. You know. There's some of us that have the correct spiritual health and don't tolerate it. And will not allow our children to be subjected to it at any... But here's the thing. It's not a threat. People don't have to allow their children to be subjected to these types of things. But the common denominator of the Mpox thing in New York was men ingesting orally fecal matter. Now you think about that, ladies and gentlemen. You think about that. And this goes on with like things like disease, X, and this, that, and the other. But they want to lie to us and tell us that these things are great and wonderful and these lifestyles are beautiful. But that tells you the exact opposite, ladies and gentlemen. It tells you the exact opposite. They're not beautiful. They're not normal. They're not natural. What do you want from me? I'm going to tell the truth, and whether some community guideline standards division likes it or not, I'm going to speak the hard reality, and that is a hard reality about what I said about that whole outbreak in New York. So I'm guessing we could probably figure out how fecal matter was ingested orally among men. And you know what another part of it was? They were part of the LGBTQ. More of the G and B. And men. So, mostly G. All G, probably. But here's the thing. that whole fecal matter orally thing is true. And that tells you that that type of lifestyle will lead to destruction. There is medical, scientific evidence that proves what happens. And I don't want to go into grave detail about how the transference of the fecal matter to the mouth went. But I'm sure it wasn't 2 girls, 1 cup style. And if it was, that's gross. But the other one has to do with, yeah, just saying. If it's hard for me to even explain it, that's because the natural man in me finds things like that reprehensible. Eating off of something that's been in, just by putting it in your, the natural man cringes at that. But anyhow, back to the disease X. Sometimes I hear of talking, but it has to do with diseases, and it just popped up but mysterious disease X kills dozens of people in Congo. Mysterious illness dubbed disease X has killed dozens in Congo. Mystery deadly disease X spreads in Congo as the World Health Organization struggles to trace origin. Most of 416 infected, 31 dead from mysterious illness in Congo are children. And of course, the World Health Organization. Let's go to disease X trackers. And this was 1 day ago. Do they got a map? I want to see if they got a map. Do they got a map? Hold on, let's
that has claimed more than 70 lives since last month. Nearly 400 people have been infected with a yet-to-be-identified illness in the southwestern part of the country. The illness has been reported in a remote village with poor roads and few health facilities. Congolese officials say many victims died in their homes due to the lack of a laboratory for testing diseases. About 40% of them were children under 5. The patients have been presenting flu-like symptoms, fever, cough, and difficulty in breathing. Last week, the Congolese government and the World Health Organization sent teams of experts to identify the outbreak and treat patients. The WHO experts said they're not ruling out the possibility of a new disease. They, however, added that there's a likelihood it could be malaria, pneumonia, influenza, COVID-19 or measles. The area where the disease has been reported is known as Panzi Health Zone. It has had several cases of malnutrition, which experts believe has led to an increase in the deaths. The local health workers had urged
the Duramax 3-liter turbo.
So, let's be honest. They don't know what the heck it is. It just happened to pop up pretty much right after Biden's little visit to Africa. I guess where it's popping up? Right around the Democratic Republic of the Congo. Congo. Look at this. Displaced people living in crowded camps. Who likes to go over there? Fueled the rapid spread of Mpox, but this is disease X in the southwestern province of Congo, I don't want to mispronounce that, has presented with cases of fever, headache, cough, difficulty breathing, and anemia. Anemia. This is different. We're talking about, it could be this and it could. You know what it is. Come on. At least the Biden administration knows what it is. At least Dr. Fauci knows what it is. And the World Health Organization, Bill Gates knows exactly what it is. Bill Gates knows exactly what this is. Bill Gates wants to come to your front door with a needle. Stick you in the arm. Invite Bill Gates into your heart, ladies and gentlemen. I'm sorry. This is just too obvious. This is way too obvious. Way too obvious. If you don't think that this is obvious, well, because we're going to go back. We're going to take a field trip back in time again, because if there's anybody that is getting on here that hasn't heard what I was talking about, I would love to reshare this with you, because this is just one crazy story. And it's all put together by multiple different stories that leads to one conclusion. The number of American biolabs in Africa is growing rapidly. Bill Gates warns about global killer disease X. Millions will die. Takeaways from Biden's trip to Africa. Pardon of son Hunter overshadows official business. Pay attention to the puzzle pieces, ladies and gentlemen. Pay attention to the puzzle pieces. Please. Flu-like disease X probed on... wait, yeah. And mind you, Bill Gates was warning about this from 2019, right after the CV-19 outbreak or pandemic. Right after that. You got to watch what you say. So I have to say CV, this, that, the other. But here's the thing, ladies and gentlemen. It didn't take a rocket science to figure out, they had the ones in Ukraine. Those had to be shut down, of course, because, can't have people finding too much evidence in there. Can't have the Russians finding too much of condemning, damning information on the United States of America and what we were really up to. And then, of course, disease outbreak. Sorry, I don't want the ad. But then, you got all this news about disease X. What is disease X? Why is the Congo outbreak raising alarm? Disease X. What is the illness spreading in Congo? And you notice how all these wonderful, beautiful new viruses just happen to have their origins out of the Congo? Or places like that, like these third world countries that really can't fight off these monsters that are building these laboratories there. They can build them they can do things in Africa with this stuff that they can't do in the United States legally. They can go over there and call gain of function chicken noodle soup testing, and guess what? They're playing Dr. Frankenstein with spike proteins and everything else. My goodness, ladies and gentlemen, this is insane. And I'm sure there's people out there going to be like, you're just crazy. You're just a loony. And I'm going to be like, you know what? If I'm crazy, you know what? So be it. I hope I'm crazy. I pray I'm crazy. I would love to be crazy. Because then at least I would have an excuse for having my brain work the way it does. And look at this. Check this out. Check this story out now. Oh, wait a minute. Here's another one. Ladies and gentlemen. I researched diseases. These Trump picks have me worrying about possible bird flu pandemic. Oh, but before we go on to this wonderful gem out of that MSNBC decided to crap out, let's check this out. Where is it? News about the bird flu and the Trump transition. There we go. Why the threat of bird flu makes this presidential transition problematic. And then, of course, it goes on to this. Wait a minute. Here, we'll check this one out first. Okay, yep, that was it. I researched diseases. These Trump picks have me worrying about a possible bird flu pandemic. Oh my goodness. These people are ridiculous, ladies and gentlemen, but let's watch them cry like little girls. Let's watch. Let's just watch it.
Scientists, as the New York Times notes, all of elect Trump's picks to lead the nation's top health agencies, causing concern among some doctors and scientists. As the New York Times notes, all of Trump's health nominees have pushed back against COVID policies or supported ideas that are outside, in many cases, of the medical mainstream.
Oh my goodness!
That includes Trump's choice to lead the CDC, Dave Weldon, former congressman and physician who has been an outspoken critic of the public health agency and its vaccine program.
Oh my goodness, how dare he? How dare he? How dare he think outside of the box that these megalomaniacs have created to try to keep us all pinned in? How dare he think for himself? How dare he might think a little more logically than the people that are making money hand over fist, not curing cancer, mind you, when they could, but treating it. Spraying chemicals into the sky, spraying them on our fruits and vegetables, when people could just easily get in there, wash them off, and you're good to go. But no, we got to spray them down with pesticides and everything else. I mean, do you know when they're going in there spraying these vegetables, like people like Monsanto and all that other stuff, do you know they're actually wearing full-on hazmat suits? You know, full out. They're fully protected while they're spraying our fruits and vegetables, ladies and gentlemen, okay? And GMOs, genetically modified organisms, just being shoved into our food. Yeah, here's some plastic, eat it. And let's not talk about the bird flu, but let's just go on to see how delusional these people really are. And how they don't believe that we should be able to have people in there that think different. Because if you think different than them, well, by gosh, you're just a racist, homophobic bigot.
He has pushed false claims that a preservative used in some vaccines is linked to autism. And Dr. Jeanette Neshawat, Trump's pick for Surgeon General, is a Fox News medical contributor who was critical of government mandates during the pandemic. These nominations
critical of government mandates during the pandemic. Oh my God, that's such a threat. Because he was critical of government mandates under these Democrat tyrants that wanted to lock us all in our house, tell us if we went around grandma, we were going to kill her. Cost people their livelihoods during COVID, okay? The suicide rate went through the roof. Look it up. You think I'm kidding? Kids were taking themselves out in their own homes. That was so healthy, right? You know, stay in your house, shelter in place, you know, make it sound like something it really... And then, of course, we saw the good old governor of Minnesota sending the freaking armored tank MRAP police vehicles down the street telling people, you better stay in your house. You better stay in. The Gestapos are here. You better stay in the house, or you'll go to jail. You're going to go to jail if you come outside. You know what? I live in a state where we got a Democrat governor. They put that shelter in place crap up. And you know what? Thankfully, we got a police force down here that don't give a crap about them trying to violate our Constitution and would not allow them to violate our Constitution. I mean, it was sad. You know, you'd go to Walmart and it looked like freaking cattle, like they were herding cattle through a line, or you were in a prison processing or something like that. You know, and you had to go walk, this is like, it was just crazy. They had somebody at the thing with their little iPad or whatever it was, your tablet, punching in every single person that walked into the store, telling people, well, if it's non-essential, like, come on now. McDonald's wasn't essential, you know. Walmart certainly wasn't essential. Whatever. But it was crazy. And these are the mandate. Oh, they didn't like the government mandates. Big freaking deal. I stand with her. I stand with anybody that stood against those psychotic, draconian, Hitlerian mandates. I mean, the Democrats had more mandates than a gay bar. My goodness. So yeah, I'm all for people that were against that stuff. But here we go.
Come at a critical time as the United States is dealing with several health threats, including bird flu, whooping cough, and a spike in cases of measles. Join us now, NBC News medical contributor,
here we go.
Dr. Vin Gupta. Dr. Gupta, always great to see you, so we can talk specifically about some of these nominees.
Why
Chief
are they
among them,
always named
of course,
Gupta?
Bobby Kennedy Jr., but just broadly as a physician, looking at the resumes and some of the views of the people who will dictate the way that these health agencies conduct business and some of the regulations that are upon us in this country or perhaps taken away. What are some of your concerns?
Yeah, Willie, a few things here. It depends on what they want to do. If they want to focus on things that are not divisive, that I'd say 95% of healthcare professionals agree on, they could do that. And so that's things like incentivizing primary care, Willie, and changing how we reimburse for primary care versus specialty care. They've actually talked about that. That would be a smart thing.
Kohl's Cash is the gift that keeps on giving. Get $10.
Long story short is they're terrified because they know their little medical tyranny is about to come crashing down all around them. But. So they're trying to use bird flu as a means.
Here's the problem. We're all expecting. Depends on what they want to do. If they want to focus on things that are not divisive, that I'd say 95% of healthcare professionals agree on, they could do that. And so that's things like incentivizing primary care, Willie, and changing how we reimburse for primary care versus specialty care. They've actually talked about that. That would be a smart thing to do. Tackling chronic disease. What does that mean?
Like this doctor is going to stop them from getting it done. But that would be a smart thing to do in food safety. Maybe separating the Food and Drug Administration to one on food and the other on drugs. Here's the problem. We're all expecting the negatives to really dominate here. So the big one is access to care. We are seeing, whether it's Mehmet Oz's comments on the underinsured or uninsured and the fact that they don't have a right to healthcare access, he's made that comment many times, or the fact that these enhanced subsidies for the Affordable Care Act are going to expire at the end of 2025. We should expect people will lose healthcare insurance by the end of 25, the end of President-elect Trump's first year in office. Okay, here we go with the fear-mongering by the left, by another Gupta. Oh, Gupta. There are all these doctors on TV called Gupta. Is there another name that somebody could name their child that's going to be a physician? I don't know. People might think that, I'm not racist. I just, Sanjay Gupta, and then this Gupta, and then I had a doctor named Gupta. Literally, great guy. Great man. Helped me out a lot, actually. But the long story short is they're going to use fear tactics, and they're going to try to say, well, this is going to be bad for America, this, that, and the other. What are they going to try to hit him with bird flu? They've got plans. They've got plans, ladies and gentlemen. I've mapped them out for you. I've literally mapped it all out for you. I have literally mapped it all out, and I will do it again right now. When Biden left, when Joe Biden pardoned his son, he went to Africa. Not soon after that. Now look, the number of American biolabs in Africa is growing rapidly, and it's scary because it's a third world country that can't fight against people being the citizens of those countries becoming what you would call the test subjects. And hey, here, we'll give you a bag of rice. Come on in, get stuck with this. Let's see how this works. Hey, if y'all get in line and get stuck with this, we'll feed your kids. Who knows what the heck's going on? It's confidential. It's classified. And then, of course, you got Bill Gates running around the globe with a giant needle just wanting to stick everybody. Like, Bill, stick with computers, bro. Put the needles and the vaccines down. Go hang out with your computers. Go hang out with your wife. Oh, wait a minute. That's right. You were too busy playing patty cake with Mr. Epstein, hanging out at his house because you were having problems with your wife? Oh, my goodness. I couldn't even imagine you having problems with your wife, Mr. Gates, while you were hanging out with Jeffrey Epstein. I couldn't see where any problems could have came of that. That's a fact, though, ladies and gentlemen. That is a fact. He was hanging out with Jeffrey Epstein. He used to go crash at Jeffrey's house. Him and Melinda Gates were having some issues or whatever. He used to go crash at Jeffy's house. Mr. Prolific Pedophile of the Year. Human Trafficker of the Year. I don't know if Diddy's got him beat or not. Does Diddy have his own island yet? With tunnels in the island like Jeffrey? I don't know. I think if he wasn't as prolific, and I think this is Jeffrey Epstein speaking from the grave, so to speak, when you're seeing people like P. Diddy and all that happen. But anywho. But I'm showing you the story. The number of American biolabs in Africa is growing rapidly. This whole thing of the Ukraine, by the way, upset their work that was going on in the Ukraine, had to close up shop because the Russians were coming. But they found the labs. The Russians found the labs in Ukraine. Exposed them on video. Had their people, their military in there with cameras. Seen the videos. You can find the videos if you look hard enough. I'm not going to show them on here. I'll find them and show them one day. If you haven't seen them, I'll find them and show them. I will do that. I'll go get them and show them. But here's the thing. So they had to close up shop there with some stuff they had going on there. Because it's legal for these people to do all this type of spike protein, gain of function research. All you got to do is change the name of it. Call it tea leaf testing or whatever it is they're doing. And then they get the funding for it. They still play Dr. Frankenstein with spike proteins and different viruses. Well, let's see if, this is pretty deadly in animals. Let's see if we can't make it deadly in human beings too. Yeah, that's a real good idea. Have you idiots ever watched Jurassic Park once in your life? You know, it's ooh and ah, and then it's running and screaming. But back to where we were. You got this. Then you got, of course, in 2019, Bill Gates talks about the global killer disease X, millions will die. And then, of course, what is this? Aid to Africa doesn't detract from disaster relief for U.S. hurricane victims. Okay, that was December 9th of this year. The other one was September. The article about Bill Gates I showed you was from 2019. This is from 2024, December 9th, because people are like, oh, well, we got to fact check it. We got to PolitiFact, of course, PolitiFact. Aid to Africa doesn't detract from the disaster relief to U.S. hurricane victims. Oh, but y'all admitted that your money was depleted. It was depleting. But you could just afford to go give Africa money. Yeah, we're going to go to Africa real quick.